Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello to you. Welcome back to the channel where you join me at the 2018 Goodwood Festival of Speed, where I'm in the first glance paddock to go for a hill climb run in the brand new Polestar 1. Now this is a prototype for the final car, but this is the very first experience ever in the new Polestar 1. I'm the lucky person who gets to see what it's like as we run up the hill. Let's get started then, take a walk around of the car behind me and talk about what it exactly is. Let's get started with all of the details of the new car before we jump in for the global dynamic debut, the first ever drive in public here at Goodwood. And then when we get back to the paddocks afterwards, we'll head over to Polestar's main stand to check out the production version of the car that launched earlier this year at the Geneva Motor Show. So what exactly is the Polestar 1? Well, you may be familiar with the Polestar brand, the performance division within Volvo, which itself is owned by the Chinese company Geely. Well, Polestar is very much now a rebrand, a relaunch, and a look towards the future in more ways than one. Now this car is a hybrid, but all of the future Polestar models are going to be electric vehicles, but this is with a little bit of a difference. So typically a hybrid would be a combustion engine supported by electric motors. This is an electric car supported by a combustion engine. So that's how they pitch it, with a difference. Now not only that, when it goes on sale next year, you'll also have the opportunity to buy it outright for roughly £115,000 or so, but also buy it via a subscription service for 2 or 3 years. This is a new take and a new look into the future and how this is going to be done. But let's take a look around now and just talk a little bit more about the specific details of the car. And you have to remember, this one is the prototype. Prototype number 4. It's been around the world for various bits of testing. It is very much finalizing things ready for production. So what we're looking at is a luxury, sporty Grand Tourer. It has circa 600 horsepower or so all in. That comes from up front, a 2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine that powers the front axle with roughly 308 horsepower, and that's supported by dual electric motors for the rear axle with an additional 232 horsepower. Add a crank ISG to that and you have the 600 in total that powers this vehicle. No official numbers at the moment, but 0 to 100 kilometers an hour or 62 miles per hour is going to be under 4 seconds or so. Expect it then to be quick, and I'm looking forward to experiencing what that's like as we head out in a moment. It's got a few trick bits of technology on top of this. You can switch it between full petrol if you don't want to have range anxiety, or you can put it in full electric if you want to run as efficiently as possible, where you get a range of 150 kilometers or 93 miles if you translate that. So this car is obviously not wearing the final production wheels or configuration or spec or that kind of thing, but we can have a little look around it, a glimpse at the car that's in front of us. Open up the door. It's going to be built in Chengdu in China. They're going to build up to 500 of them per year. On the inside we can see some familiar elements of Volvo vehicles. If you look into the middle there, it's based on the traditional Volvo chassis, but 200 kilos lighter thanks to the use of carbon fibre for just about everything to make it lightweight, and it's about half a metre shorter than the equivalent vehicle too. We'll see more of this as we jump in a moment to go for this run and drive up the hill and experience the different modes with their test driver Joakim. So Polestar 1, let's get in, let's get set and get on the way. Time to step in where my driver awaits. How are you?
Fine. Welcome.
Very nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to this, so let me climb in. Here we go then. Wonderful.
Let me start it up.
It's a funny world when starting it up is just silence, isn't it? The electrical noise and hum and sounds as it comes to life. So,
here we go.
Wonderful. We're in a very exciting paddock, mix of cars around us here. There's the Aston Martin Signet with a V8. We've got the Bentley Bentayga from Pikes Peak, the Urus.
You know them.
And we're looking into the future here. The Signet with the V8 is completely the opposite of this. We're surrounded by some interesting vehicles in the first glance, which is a paddock dedicated to new vehicles, new technology, cars such as this. So, you can switch it between the different modes.
Do that.
Got the power mode. So,
it
starts up the engine. Comes into life.
Yeah.
So, just to ask a few questions about this. If you're in the power mode, maximum power, that's combining the electrical motors with the combustion engine.
Yes. 600 horsepower.
Which is a fair whack. That's safe to say a pretty quick machine. I imagine a lot of torque as well with the electrical systems.
Yeah.
And then the other modes that you have, if you switch it between them.
We open it.
We've got
all-wheel drive. Pure all-wheel drive, and then we have electrical.
So the The pure mode
Yeah.
is just pure electric.
Pure electric.
Okay, so that is where you get
Quiet,
it's 232
inside.
horsepower of silence effectively,
Yes.
and a fairly good range.
Rear wheel driven.
Okay, yeah. Okay. You can switch between them. That's all a very, very nice system. 1,000 wheel kits. I've got my lid ready to go on when we go up the hill. The Signet is cheekily squeezing through in front of us. As we get down towards the start line, where we'll be heading across in a moment, you can see the complete run from the supercar paddock, where we have the Apollo IE, the Neo EP9, the McLaren Senna, the BAC Mono, the new Lanzante P1 GT with a ginormous scoop on the roof, the 488 Pista Pilotti, then the 812. This list of cars just goes on and on and on. How epic is this lineup? The Koenigsegg Agera RSN. Ah, that's the new Vantage V600. One of 7 of those. Bespoke from Aston Martin Q. The new Vantage behind it. Supercar Dreamland here. The DB11 AMR. Then we've got the normal DB11 in a lovely colour behind that. Next is the stunning DBS Superleggera, Aston Martin's newest model, followed by the bonkers Vulcan AMR Pro, which is quite frankly a ridiculous track weapon. Then we've got Maseratis, Bentleys, some Lambos further down. Then we have the Lamborghini Centenario Roadster, followed by a very nice Aventador S. This line of supercars is pure dreamland, as it just continues. The new Huracan Performante Spider. The Lexus LFA is always one of my favourites. The new Pagani Huayra Roadster, followed by the Agera Thor. Agera RS, one of the last Koenigsegg Ageras. Ford GT, obviously love that. GT2 RS, AMG GTR. Wow, what a line of cars we have here. The Brabham BT62, which is of course a track car, hence why it's being pushed, and then the W Motors Veneer, the new car, making its dynamic debut as well. This is, well, lovely cars everywhere, and the Polestar 1 also lined up here, ready for me to jump back in and head on for the hill climb. Also have the GTR concept. It does look very sleek, doesn't it? Imagine what it's going to be like when the camo is fully removed. Actually looking at the back and the way the thin rear lights work. It is time, and you guys, just to put into perspective how special this is the very first debut of not only this model, but Polestar as a brand.
That's a brand.
Which must be for you. Are you pretty excited right now?
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's fantastic.
Oh, wristband checks.
Yep, we have to check this.
Constant checks just to make sure everything's done correctly. I mean, you've been working on this for years.
For years. And made it set up the whole project, and now we can show it for public.
Yeah.
At
quite
Goodwood,
exciting.
the historic Goodwood.
Yeah, and here we go, up to the start line
Yeah.
to experience it. So I'm looking forward to seeing what 600 horsepower and 1,000 Newton meters feels like.
Yeah.
I'll hold my horses.
Yeah.
It's also Joakim's first ever drive here.
Here we go.
Nice, you feel the torque.
Yeah.
Straight back into the seat, lots of it, and it's continuous. Oh, better hold this.
Woohoo! Here we go. What do you say about it?
It's very quick, and
Yes.
the power is constant. It doesn't run out.
Here
It
we
keeps
go.
delivering. Keeps delivering in plentiful amounts. Wowzers. But it's also, as we come across the finish line, it's also quite smooth and comfortable.
Yeah, this is a car you can use every day. And on a racing track.
I'm impressed by how quick it is, honestly.
Yeah. And you see, I just...
Managed to turn on the radio. How do we turn that off? Down here. There we go. Pause for the moment.
Yeah, but that's what I last year tried to tune this car. So you see how I drive, just play with it.
Yeah.
If I want, I can move quickly and the rear comes slow.
Yeah.
You can slide.
And it's very happy to let you be tail happy.
Yeah. The car people should have fun in this car.
For sure. I mean, okay, so it's an interesting setup by having the combustion engine at the front and the electrical motors for the rear.
Yes. 2 electrical engines, so we can have torque vectoring.
Yeah.
But this car, we don't have any kind of system for the moment. This is mule car.
Okay.
So it's without anything. And you notice in the first car it was a little bit slippery.
You weren't holding back?
No.
Wow, awesome.
We are here for having fun.
Definitely, and fun that definitely was.
But you can see, I can just sit and play with the car and it's accelerate, it's good steering position.
And the way the power delivery, I mean, obviously it's seamlessly shifting with the combustion element, but I wasn't expecting the power to keep delivering in that way. It never felt like it's running out.
Up to 250.
Yeah, I mean,
delivering.
Watching the numbers rising up 150 kilometers an hour, 160, 170, it was still like pushing.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it's time after time, just power. Pure power.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to join you for the first ever run.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it an awful lot.
It's my pleasure.
And I'm sure that there will be many more successful and exciting things to come.
I know.
Yeah, you do. We don't. Not yet, anyway. We will in future.
There will come a lot of more interesting things.
Brill. Thank you very much. We depart from the cars up at the top for the drive back down towards the bottom, following the Alpine A110 race car, the GT4 car. But this has been quite an experience, a very lucky experience for me to obviously join inside the car, being a prototype with the full cage. One thing I actually really quite like is the roof. Check this out. The full glass roof, tinted blue. Obviously the car has the rear seats as well behind the cage back there. But in electric mode right now, it is very, very quiet.
Yes.
Silence. So you're gonna display showing that you're in the electrical elements. Hybrid. So driving hybrid, so hybrid.
Oh, we can put it in pure here.
So hybrid will automatically go into electric, I guess.
Yeah, it's not always on hybrid. But now we do electrical mode.
So
it's quiet.
Just with the gentle kind of whirs. Yeah, okay, feel that. Just over 200 horsepower or so of electrical power.
Yes.
Picks up very nicely. So this is now a rear-wheel drive electric car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
instant torque rear-wheel drive. That sounds like it would be a fun
on snow,
equation.
Yeah. Snow and ice is perfect. You can play with it.
Very different to what we're following.
And now we're switching power. There we start up the engine.
Fires up immediately.
Push it.
It's a strange mix because the marketing pitch, or I guess the technology element, is that it's electric car supported by combustion engine.
Yes,
and you feel like that.
Yeah, and the thing is, you got the power direct because you have no turbo lag or anything. You have electrical power.
Yeah.
From the bottom up to 250.
Yeah. But there's very much a sense of, like here, electric car with the petrol engine then firing up to support that. Interesting to experience the technology because this is new.
If you feel here, take off.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. You just push. And brakes.
And the brakes aren't bad either.
Brakes.
Akabono brakes.
6
okay.
pistons. Monoblock.
And the other thing to talk about, the Öhlins adjustable suspension.
Yes.
So it's got...
Together with Öhlins, we have worked very hard and tried to create an adjustable damper with good balance between, good compromise between handling and comfort.
Okay.
So you can use this car day by day, but you can also use it at Goodwood.
Yeah, you can feel that. It felt very dynamic from the passenger seat as we were coming back up the hill climb here. The legendary circuit, but what a place to be driving in.
It's fantastic.
Surrounded by...
should we do take off?
Yeah, why not?
Should we wave to the public?
I'll just hold on. The braking is good.
Yeah. If you have power, you need to also brake.
I suppose there's a low centre of gravity, the battery packs through the tunnel.
It makes the car easy to tune, easy to handle.
Yeah, I can kind of feel that it's not pitching around as much as you might think it would.
It's quite flat.
Yeah. And off. Just like that. Off. Magic.
Thank you for this.
Thank you ever so much.
It was my
really appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Yeah.
Awesome experience to join you. So let's go and have a look at the production car.
Yeah.
I've just been learning an awful lot more about the Neron production version of the car that is spinning around on the turntable behind me, and we can take a better look at this, including the interior, and also a special unique feature that they have installed in the boot. But something that has stood out to me is the way that Polestar are handling the car in terms of orders and the specification. Effectively, every car comes very highly equipped, fully loaded so to speak, and you can just choose between 6 different exterior colours, 2 different interior colours, 3 different wheel finishes, and 2 different options for the bright work, and that is it. All of the cars will basically have the same configuration. But taking a look at this then in more detail, let's talk about the weight savings. The carbon fibre bodywork almost entirely with the exception of the bumpers. There are a few pieces of visual carbon fibre, the lower part of the diffuser and also the splitter around the front, just so you can see that as well as on the interior. But one of the aims was to make the car lightweight, to keep the weight of the batteries and centre of gravity down towards the bottom. 34 kilowatt hours of batteries, as we heard earlier, that can give the car a range of 150 kilometres or 93 miles in total. As we come round and look at the sharp lines of the front, it's a similar shape, of course, to the Volvo front grille, but a distinct look. And I say grille, it's more a housing for the different sensors, the electrical elements around the front of the car, but quite sharp edges, minimalistic, clean design. That's the aim, and that's very much echoed, actually, with the stand that we're actually on here at Goodwood as well. So if we come in a little bit closer, very large brakes developed with Akabono, as we heard, sitting on Öhlins suspension. We can come round and open the car up. Now, I have to be very delicate, of course. This one is rather special and important, but open the doors out where we can see the interior. Neron finish look for the interior of the Polestar 1. So full digital dashboard for the driver, the large vertical display in the center console where we've had a look through some of the different options controlled through the drive mode selector. The glass selector here for reverse neutral drive, depending on your different driving modes, and the stop engine is this toggle in the center that you rotate, as we've seen in Volvo. The colors actually are quite interesting here. Obviously the accent colors that you have on this zinc finish, you can have a black finish with the golden seat belts. There's also this golden bronze that you can see behind the back of the carbon trim, just bringing that all together. There seems actually to be a fairly decent amount of space. The seat is sitting quite far back here for the driver's seat, but even still there's potentially enough room to squeeze into the back in the 2+2 configuration. So have a quick, just general look around, steering wheel, cruise control commands, and everything that we've got going on there. Media controls down towards the bottom, the armrest. Quite a thin headrest, that's a nice design, nice styling. So a glimpse at the interior and that roof that I showed you when we were in the car. Very, very nice. Look at how airy and open that is. The floating console that it has as well, with options back there. When you look and take in all the glass for the rear, incredibly open. Must be a wonderful experience, especially as we've done today on a lovely, lovely day. If we come round towards the boot and just lift this up, we can show you this surprise. Are you ready for this? So, where in a petrol car, you would take a look at the engine. In here, you take a look at the various electrical elements. Now, this is going to be a signature feature of Polestar cars going forward. They will have this in all their future electric vehicles. As obviously mentioned, this one is a hybrid, but the future cars, if you picture the Polestar 2 and Polestar 3, will be electric, but they will have that display just to give you a sense of what's going on actually in here. I don't know too much about the technology, I'm not going to lie, but nonetheless, very nice to see. Now, I've got to delicately lower the rear boot lid down. It says, just grab the handle here. Be careful with it. As of course, this is a special and important car. So around the back, the tail lights, very thin strips for the lights, sharp design right out towards the flanks. This is again, part of the sportiness of the car. If you take in these lines and the styling cues and curves that it has around it, just letting us know there the CFRP carbon fibre reinforced plastic body that it's wearing. So, what do you think? You could see a bit more of it. From the driving experience side, or what I've experienced at least, it's felt very smooth, it's also felt very quick, it's also felt quite playful, as we discovered earlier. So far, initial impressions very promising. I look forward to driving it in due course and learning more about it. But a first look for me and a first experience riding at the global dynamic debut of the new Polestar 1 here at Goodwood. So a big thanks to the team for the opportunity to join them. I hope you've enjoyed the video as well. Thank you very much for watching it as always, guys, and I will catch up with you again very, very soon. Cheers!